Good evening and welcome to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. It is Monday night all over again, and we welcome you back. We are so glad that you decide to join us every Monday night. I'm your host, Donna Gray Banks, and tonight our special guest is Rolande Vantaire, aka RVantaire, to zoom in on a fresh conversation. I hate to mess up people's names, so I want to be very particular. So thank you, Rolande, for joining us this evening.
Good evening. And this was perfect. The pronunciation was perfect. So thank
Very
you for
good.
that.
Very good. Zoom in on a fresh conversation is brought to you by Iris Diamonds LLC, Lee's Press, a Dante production. We are going to have Jazz on the Green. That is on May 19th at Washington Oaks State Park in Flagler County. Please come join us. And of course, the Fresh Book Festival, which will be held in February, the 20th to the 22nd in 2025. Thank you so much for everybody who came in 2024. We had a wonderful time, bigger and better in 2025. If you have any questions for Miss RVantaire, please leave them in the chat room. We will have time for questions at the end of the conversation. And this conversation is being recorded. Good evening, and please take a moment and introduce yourself to the audience.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rolande Vantaire, aka RVantaire. I am originally from Haiti. I grew up in the 305, Miami, Florida. I've lived in Florida for all my life. I have two beautiful grown children. Oh, let me take that back. I have five children.
Okay.
um, all grown. I am a mother, a friend, an activist. I am a love of words. I am an internal student. You name it, I am. So thank you for having me, Donna, with this beautiful platform.
And thank you for coming back. We tried this audience, I think, last month or the month before, and it just didn't work for us. So thank you for being patient. A lot has gone on in the universe since then, and I
Right,
appreciate your patience for
exactly.
that. I have some few questions for you. So just if I ask you something that you just don't really want to answer, just tell me, no, I'm not going to answer that. So that's fine. And we'll move on to the next one. But the first question is, tell us why you decided to become a novelist.
We all have stories in us. We all have something that we want to say, right? So think that I captured that from my grandmother, who was a storyteller. She was a beautiful storyteller. She opened my imagination, and I always wanted to be that storyteller.
Mm.
I regretted the fact that I never recorded. Back in the day, grew up in an island, we
I
really didn't have the
know.
technology. I would have loved to record her stories, but I have some by memory, but it would have been perfect. So I think that foundation of her storytelling embedded in me. So I've always wanted to tell stories. So it's always been in me.
So
So
why did it
that's
take so long?
um well, okay, life happened. I
Yeah, of course.
actually
Yes.
When I was a teenager, like I say, I grew up here in Miami. I've always loved to write poems. I've always write when I'm writing like greeting cards. I actually wanted to work for Hallmark because you
Hallmark.
know how they have the
Yeah.
writing greeting cards.
Yes.
But then you have the negative Nancy, the in your ear, so
You
you
can't make no money.
right. Or oh, you don't feel you're good enough, and then you allow those loud voices in your
Mm,
ear, quiet you
yes.
down
Yes.
until say but it's always in me. The novel that I wrote, it's not the first one. Actually started with the very first one. I'm like, no, it's not good enough. Let me just, put it aside. And then the pandemic happened. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. So that's why.
So this is not, is this your first or there's another novel in a book in a box somewhere?
Well, yeah, this is
Oh,
my first published
right.
But there's one, it's still in the drawer looking at me, called the Drifter, that I had give me side eye. The characters are
Yeah.
giving me side eye because I chose to publish Dangerous Lovers over,
First, yeah.
the Drifter. Right.
Well, I mean, the universe does things the way it's supposed to be done, but don't leave it in the drawer too much longer, really. It's just the time is right.
Oh yeah, not that I know that I can.
Yeah,
I did. So this is not going to stop me, you know.
yeah.
Sky's the
So,
limit.
so through it all, so you decided to do it, and when you got it in your hands, what did you think? How was that? How was that
It
feeling?
was surreal. Even today, it's been 2 years. Even today, when I'm looking, I'm like, did I do this? I'm like, is this me? Or I had a friend of mine, they called me like, is what? You did what?
I know.
And when she read it, she's like, whoa, no, wait a minute. What have you done with my friend? Because this is not my
I
So
know.
I'm still pinching myself. I still can't believe, I
Yeah,
published.
yeah.
No, and it's a great one. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's a real tribe. It really is,
Yes,
when you become an
yes.
author. Wait till you get noticed. And I don't know if you have already, but I was in Home Depot the other day and a
Oh
lady came from
wow.
around the counter and she said, I heard. It's like, oh no. So yeah, it is it's a surreal feeling that somebody would actually recognize you when you're in the street, So your day's coming. Yeah, your day is coming for sure. So
And I receive it. I receive it.
you're being a development specialist. Did that help you learning? Because you learn all the time.
Right.
And development, did that help you write your novel?
Say the other way around.
Okay.
Um, because of the skills that I have. I mean, I've been a senior learning development specialist for about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, the skills there, but putting things together, creating the content with the characters allowed me to create content with professionally with my job as a learning development specialist. So I'm able to think about the scene, okay. I specialize in adult learning. So think about the scene and visualize it. So I think that's the skills of writing helped me to do, to sharpen my skills as a learning development specialist.
Well, I must say that you were given a great accolades from Mama Tony about your book,
Yes,
Dangerous
thank you.
Lovers, and she doesn't give that out. Yeah, she doesn't give it out readily. So
You.
congratulations on
I
being
am honored. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
being a pick
Thank
of
you.
Mama Tony's review. She
Thank
is
you, Mama
very
Tony.
yeah, she wouldn't have held up the book if she didn't like it. So that's a good thing.
You,
Thank you,
Mama
Mama
Tony.
Tony, for
Thank
that.
you so much. Thank
So
you.
give us some insight to your publishing experience, the who, what, when, and where. Like, how did you, you didn't wake up and know what to do. So how did that
No,
process
no,
go?
no, 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 no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no. So I was very fortunate, and I got to give props to
Oh, Mama
people.
Tony said she had wow moments when she was reading your book. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, I was very lucky because my writing coach, of course, I hire a writing coach because I want to make sure everything's correct. Claudette Freeman, she actually used to be a radio host as well. She's a
Hmm.
playwright. Um, with Pecan Publishing, everything, it was just one stop shop. She helped me. She held my hand since this was the first one. So I got to say that I got lucky because the transactions, I would say, just ran smoothly because she was there to hold my hand to say, okay, this is the first step, this is the second step, and on and on. So I'm grateful for that. So the experience was very well
What was the name of
in
the publishing company again?
Pecan Publishing Company.
PECAN.
PECAN. Pecan.
Okay.
like the
Mm-hmm.
pecan tree. It's
Okay.
actually pecan tree publisher.
Okay.
Oh, she's going to kill me for
I know,
getting it
right? It's
wrong.
okay. Is she local here in the Florida area?
She is in Florida. Yes,
Okay.
she is in South
Mm-hmm.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is E. Claudette Freeman.
Seems like I've heard of her before, but yeah,
Yeah,
so
she's a
yeah.
playwright. She's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's I like to say that she is the word magician. That's what it
And
is.
and so did she tell you just to I tell all my young authors just write. Did she tell you just to write and then go back? Or did what was the formatting like?
So, her style of coaching is, and I always say that, ooh, if Miss Claudette give you a homework, you didn't do it, you're
Assignment.
gonna go
Okay.
you talk to the principal office. So, one of the things that I learned about her style, she'll say, okay, you got to learn to show more than telling.
Mm,
So by doing this, she'll say, yes, you got to write, just empty everything out. But you got to remember, in the meantime, you got to go back and show your story instead of just telling it to words. So I had to take that skill into my writing to make sure that, I show to allow the
mm,
readers to see what I was seeing. I want them to be, because, I've experienced it when I'm reading a book. I'm in the moment, I'm in there. So I wanted the readers to have that same experience. So I had to make sure that, I show a lot of what I'm saying so that, the reader can be in the same moment as I was when I was writing it.
right. I tell my the younger writers, I said, when you think you've written too much about a scene, you haven't written enough.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because when I walk into the room, I should be able to walk into the room with you and see
Yeah.
everything that you see, right?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
set it
Yeah.
up, right?
Yep.
And so a lot of people don't give enough to the atmospheric portion of their
That's
writing.
true.
They want to tell the
Yeah, I
story,
always,
right?
yep, yep, yeah, I always have to go back.
You
Um,
did that reading Dangerous Lovers is like watching a movie. So yeah.
yes, so
So
a lot of people, and I know maybe it's in the universe because everybody who reads the Dangerous Lover say that it has to be a movie. It has to be a movie. So I'm like, hey,
yeah.
I'm open to the universe. I'm receiving it. So let's go. And anybody who have the contact or the thing, let's go. Let's do this.
I think that's the hardest part, the screenplay writing and
Yes,
all that
versus.
and making your
Mhm.
contacts. But that is something that Fresh is going to try to do really seriously in the next 6 months. Just making sure we have editors and screenplay writers and
Yes,
things that will move your book or your document or whatever to the next level.
yes,
Whether it's a memoir, whether it's a documentary, whether it's Dangerous Lovers, to make sure that we have a tribe that you can go to and trust. That's the hardest part,
yes,
the
yep,
trust, right?
absolutely.
You know. So tell me about the cover. Love the cover.
So the
Nice.
cover, I gotta give my prop to Miss Glenda. She's the cover designer, Glenda
Okay.
Antonia. She actually, because I visualize it, she every detail that you see in the book. I don't know if there's a glare somewhere if you can see
That's
it.
okay. Yeah.
Okay, here
Yeah.
we go. Every detail that's it, including you, if you notice, there's a heart right
Yeah.
in the
In the
middle of the
middle.
book with the blood. I I said, listen, because I need to hire somebody to translate my vision the way that I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is like, ironically, I don't know about other authors, but for me, I write based on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
So the cover has to tell the story without you even starting to open the book. The title and the cover have to say something. So it was important to me that it speaks to for the cover speaks for itself. That with the designing, with the blood and the heart in the middle and all that. So yes, she
So how
did
many
that.
renditions did you go through? Okay. It's okay. 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, eight
Yeah.
or nine.
Right. I mean,
Until yes, until like K. Yeah, so this was it. This
you
was
have
it.
we are just trying to let the audience know, first time authors, second time authors, even, authors that have been around for a long time, that everybody writes differently and everything
Yeah.
comes to you differently. And
Yes.
the cover, if that is the most important thing to you, you will know immediately when you get it right, when they've
Yes.
gotten it right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you knew it.
Yep. Yeah.
You
This
knew
one hit
immediately.
me. Boom.
Hmm.
I'm like, yes, this is it right
That's
here.
it,
That's it.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so tell us, I'm going to go backwards in your questions if you don't mind. Tell
Sure.
us a brief snippet about the novel. And I know you showed a picture of the book, but tell us just a little bit. I don't want you to give us everything because we want people to buy the book. But what is it? What's
So
the premise?
he
What's it based on?
so it's based on a couple, Jasmine and Michael, who Michael is from Chicago. The setting is in Louisiana, yeah, in New Orleans. Miss Jasmine, a professional, have a girlfriend, have everything. She have her business
Mhm.
well put together. And here comes Mr.
Lover, lover.
Lover from Chicago, who thinks that he's going to snap his fingers and she's gonna say, let's go. But eventually she ended up falling for him and the danger begins.
Mm. So how did you do it geographically? Did you spend time in New Orleans?
Um, I did. I spent time in Chicago. I don't know why those are the two settings that I picked. It could have been Florida, it could be, but some reason every time I start writing, that's what I saw. So I just go with that. The last time I was in New Orleans, it was back during the Hurricane Catherine. That was the last
Okay, that's a while
the
ago.
time I went to volunteer there. That was it.
No, I meant so you had to do some geographic research because
Oh yeah,
you can't have
absolutely.
your characters
Oh no,
walking
no, no,
down
yeah,
Canal
I
Street, right,
absolutely.
Bourbon Street, and
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
yeah,
Yeah, I visited Chicago. I visited
okay.
New Orleans just to get the feeling. And yes, I've done, my research to make sure the streets are correct. The park, the setting that I have, they do exist. So yes, I had to put a lot of research into that.
Let me ask you, is it going to be a book too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because I purposely, and Mama will appreciate that, I purposely left a cliffhanger at the end and allowed the readers to actually make up their mind and say, is this gonna happen? Is that gonna happen? But guess what the sequel going to name? Dangerous Liaison.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
dangerous liaison.
okay.
Because what happened, there were two characters in the book that I purposely silenced them, so the
Mm-hmm.
voice wasn't there. So those two characters, the voice, they're gonna be the main characters because I have one, Miss Sarah. She will never be quiet. And Donna, you can appreciate that when you've done with the book, the characters they keep talking. They keep talking. So trying
Yeah.
to tell her to take a seat because right now I'm doing another project. I promised her once I'm done with that project, and she's been giving me attitude all,
Now,
throughout the
see, if
whole
you
script.
weren't talking to authors, somebody would put you on Zanzibar, right? But we all understand that. I have two main
Right.
characters, Eugenia and Isla. Isla is the basis of the story. And
Mhm.
Eugenia keeps saying, listen, what am I? Chopped liver? You
Yeah,
know,
I have. Oh
done with
my
her.
goodness.
Let's be done
No,
with her.
Sarah, she's a firecracker. She's one of those who will, who start taking off her earrings to fight your battle for you,
Right?
to fight for you. Somebody look at you the wrong way. It's her that they offended that she's gonna come in, and she starts telling me, listen, hello, you have me sitting in there waiting for you for long. I don't have time to be waiting for you. So let's go. So I had to tell her,
Yeah,
okay, sit down
really.
somewhere until I'm done with this, I'm coming back to you, okay?
It really is. You just people don't. I mean, people in the industry understand it, but when
Yeah.
you talk to someone, especially if they're not readers, they really just don't understand. No, we
Right.
don't need to be put on medication. We're just authors
Exactly.
with
Yeah.
people in your head trying to make their voices be heard, right? And have you
Yeah.
ever had a character that of a police officer in the last book that he just escorted somebody out of the room, right? And the other night I heard him say, "What am I just escorting somebody? What else you gonna do with me?" Right? And so yeah, that's what happens. It's really, yeah. Have you started book two?
Yes, but I had to pause it.
Of course, pause
I
is
I
good.
I have the outline. I
Hmm.
immediately had the outline, so I had to make a choice to either continue with the sequel or write my memoir. But I felt that at that time, that was during the pandemic, that writing my memoir was more important to
Okay.
me at that time than continue with that. But Sarah is not happy with that, but she'll be okay.
Is your you're working on your memoir now?
I
Okay.
am currently
Mhm.
working my
Mhm.
memoir titled The Little Girl Within, because we all know we have a little girl within us
Right.
that's
Right.
loud and and so that's my memoir.
So are
The
you
little
able to write it in the first person? Are there still people alive that you have to worry about?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am writing in the first, well, at first, being the artistic weird mind, I wanted to do it in third person. But again, my coach said, well, the emotion will not be pure if you do it
Right.
in third person. So I really don't not worry about the people that are still living because it's my truth, it's my story, it's my
Okay.
life.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to be in my shoes for them to no, I'm not worried about that. I am writing it from the little girl's perspective and to the adult's perspective. So that's what I'm doing. So I split the book in two, telling the little girl story, which is my nickname, Luffy, and then the adult is to understand what she went through and how the adult felt like, she failed her for not protecting her.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. And the book in the drawer.
Oh yeah, that's the Drifter. The Drifter, it's probably another sequel or something. I'll figure it out. But yeah, yeah, the characters in the drawer still looking at me like they're still mad at me, by the way. They're like, okay, now she got another one. Now she gotta tell her story. But then she's
I
not telling, did
know.
she tell our story?
I
By the way,
know.
I wrote that one 2017.
Yeah.
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 So
I
we'll
mean,
see.
we all have, well, this is my favorite, there are tons of
Oh
these
yeah,
around, right? That you write in, you start it, you
yeah,
stop it, start it and
yeah,
stop it. And
yeah,
yeah, so we all understand that 2017, but it's time,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
make
I,
time because this is our time, really. I just feel like for melanated authors,
yes,
this is really our time to tell the world that, we write, we read,
yeah. We
we're
read
literate,
exactly.
right?
Yes,
Um, Regardless of the banned book thing, we really have to
right.
um, be on board and realize that people died for the right to read.
Yes,
They
yes,
died for the
yes.
right to read, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they died for the right to read.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so now it just is the perfect time for all of us who have a voice and have something to say it,
Absolutely.
because the portal is open and closed, right?
Yes,
The portal is
yes.
open for us right now. So Yeah, so great. Now, let me ask you what during the pandemic, that's when you started writing this book. Is that what you said?
Um, yes, the Dangerous Lovers, yes, it was during the pandemic that I started writing it.
And did you learn anything else during the pandemic?
Oh,
Did you
absolutely.
yeah, tell us about
Oh, wow. One thing that I learned, I mean, among many other things, is just like you can't let fear dictate you,
that.
right? Because remember how when the pandemic, when the first time we were all so afraid, and then on top of that, among with all of the social injustice and all the things that was going on at
Mm,
the same time,
time.
so the fear was real at that time. So the number one thing that I learned was that you cannot let fear dictate you.
Cannot, cannot.
It's so during that
Biblically,
time,
biblically,
yeah,
God does not give you the spirit of fear.
yes, it was go time for me at that during
Yeah,
that time. It was go time for me
yeah.
during the pandemic.
And so who'd you tell the first person to that you were gonna write it?
Who did I tell
Who'd you
that
tell?
I was going to write? I didn't tell anyone.
Kept it a secret.
But no, however, now
Okay.
I have a nephew who's an actor. He was also a writer. I told him, but he didn't believe me. He didn't believe me. And then when I had the book, I had him do a reading, and he was so surprised, so amazed. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
now here you go. So I think that was the only person that I really discussed about. Even my children, I didn't even tell anybody I was writing. No one knew I was writing it. I
Now
was
it has to be a bit erotic in nature. We're talking dangerous lovers, right? So yeah. So did that bring any backlash to you?
um, no.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the background. So I'm Christian.
Right.
So in my head, the first thing I thought about, oh my God, what the church is going to say. I'm gonna write. So luckily, oh yeah, luckily, luckily, my coach, she's like, listen, us Christian, we need some excitement too. If you're gonna write and write second, just write it. Okay, write it. So I'm like, okay.
I
So I'm
know.
like, okay, let me just remove everything and I'm just gonna put my other hat on and then just write it. And then that was it. It was go time after that.
And so I get so tickled when people say, "Oh, Donna, I don't read what you write." And I said, "Oh, you got 4 kids.
Right. How
How'd
did
you
you
do
get
that?
the
How'd you get
immaculate
how'd you get
conception?
how'd you get 4 kids without doing none of this stuff?
Right,
I don't
right.
understand it." So
Mhm.
yeah, and so that's what kind of my response to uh, Christian minded people. I just say, listen, you had kids? Okay, how'd you do that? You had to do something in this book to get a kid.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and and you know what? And it was important to me for me to show the Black love because I
Yeah.
feel like we don't expose it that much. The more respectful one, the
Hmm.
Black love,
Hmm.
intimacy in the Black family, in the Black
Right.
community. We're
You know,
so afraid to talk about intimacy.
right.
Um, so for me, it was important for me to say, okay, yeah, we have that too. You have it, we have that too. We love intimacy, we love kissing, we love touching. It's part of our nature as well. So it was important to me to make sure that, that I display that.
How hard was it for you to also throw in the red flags for the dangerous lovers? Was that hard for you to,
No,
because there were
actually.
flags she didn't see evidently. Right.
Oh yeah, there are so many, but you know what? You know what? Here's the thing. I think that we always see the red flag. The thing is, because we're so gung ho that, oh, don't worry, we will. fix it, because we enter into that relationship as fixer. So we ignore, I think with our own ego, we ignore the red flags that I can fix that, I can do it, or I can deal with that. So with Jasmine, she saw the very first on their first date,
Ah,
he said something, and she questioned him, and she backed off and said, "Yeah, brush it off." So it started from the first date.
mm.
Yeah.
And why do you
Mhm.
think she was so vulnerable?
Daddy issue.
Daddy issues.
Yes. And just like he has mommy issues with a lot of things that he's done, with his promiscuity with other women. So he had mommy issues and she had daddy issues. So there you have it.
Is the book based in New Orleans or Chicago or kind of both?
No, he's from Chicago. There's some backstory of
Mhm,
Chicago to
mhm,
explain his
mhm.
background, but it's mainly in New Orleans.
So, is there anything else you want to tell us about Dangerous Lovers? I mean, how did you
Um,
feel? What was your greatest accomplishment when you realized after you wrote the book? Was that the greatest accomplishment? Just getting it in your head or giving it
wow.
to somebody who said you couldn't do
Yeah, to me, the greatest accomplishment is when a reader said, "Oh my gosh,
it?
this is a good book. This
Yeah,
should be a movie."
yeah,
So I every time I hear that, I'm like, "Wow, I did that. Wow, I did that." So to me, that's a great accomplishment
right.
for me. And
And
the
then
other thing that
sometimes when you reread it, you said, "Did I write that?"
oh yes, I mean, I had to read it again.
Right.
I was reading, I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking when I was saying, was I drinking?
Yeah. Sounds
Huh?
good though.
Yeah,
Works really well. I know it's great.
get
I love that.
questions I'm sure you get questions too.
Mm.
I get questions like, oh, is this your life? Is
Yeah,
this
I
based
tell
on your life?
everybody, I said, if I did everything that Isla did or does in the books, I would not be on YouTube. I'd be in a
Yeah,
mansion.
right.
So it'd
So
be
you
very,
can't
very different.
fathom, right,
Be
your
a different life.
imagination. Right.
And I don't understand why people don't understand that you can have that vivid imagination without okay let's just get and I try to give them pointers like we see the videos of some children in certain parts of the country where they make up everything, right? The little boy who has a computer with an apple on the back of it is made out of cardboard, right? Those are the kinds of uh, things that we pull from, right? Things that we
Mhm.
might not ever be able to do or not might
Yep,
ever be able to say,
yep,
right? You see some children from other parts of the world dancing in dirt. I mean,
yeah,
but
yeah,
dancing like their lives depended, right?
yes,
And that's got
yes,
to be the imagination that them say
yep,
somebody might see this, somebody may actually do something, right? So that's the kind of
mm,
imagination I think we write with.
right, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, and the other important point that I wanted to, was important to me that I made, the book is mental issue, your mental health.
Mm.
So I always say that, one of the things that I would want people to take, or readers to take away from the book, it's just like heal yourself before you get into any relationship, whether if it's friendship
Mm.
or romantic relationship. Make sure
Yeah.
that you heal, and whether it's a man or a woman, make sure that you heal, because all of that residue, all of that
Yeah.
um, ugliness, you're gonna carry with you and dump it on somebody else, which is not fair. So it's important to know that, And then that's one thing that we don't talk about enough in our community.
Right. We don't. We don't.
Yeah. So it's important that, seek counseling, to talk to friends, whoever that, do whatever it takes.
Thanks.
Because mental health is important. It's very, very important. So that's
Yeah,
one of
because
the
we
other,
say things like, "Man, you crazy," and he really is. And
yeah,
nobody will
yeah,
take it any further than that. Right? No, no,
right.
no, dude, you're really crazy.
Yeah, yep, the baggage goes with you.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah,
Like what Tony said, yeah, it goes with you. So you just gotta make sure that you heal yourself. That's why I cannot understand how people jump from one relationship to the next, like, next week a rebound. You never really give it's just like when you having surgery, you have the first surgery, you have to wait until the stitches, everything's healed first,
hmm
and then you can do so. My hope with this book is to also tell people to heal yourself, heal thyself before you get into a relationship.
yeah. That's important, right? So, please leave us with your contact information and your pearl of wisdom.
Okay, so my wisdom again, well, I guess here's the segue of healing yourself. Take care of yourself first. The other thing that I read somewhere that no one is responsible for your happiness but yourself. So we have to learn to make ourselves happy, because what happens when when you're around a happy person, other people are happy, right?
Yeah,
So it's contagious. So you're responsible for your own happiness. Do the things that makes you happy. Do the things that makes you who identify you as you. Because a lot of time we hide, whether behind religion, by behind social settings or what have not. But when you grow to love who you are, the true, the creator makes you who you are. Oh, it's a game changer.
it is.
It's
It
a
is.
game changer. And I'm telling you that from
And I wish we got it
experience.
earlier. It just seems like we don't get it early enough, right? It comes with
Yes.
season and age and all that.
Yes, I guess it's part of the wisdom, but I'm learning that now. I'm like, man, I wish I've known this a long time ago, because there's a lot of things that I wouldn't put up with.
But right. Yeah. But
But
I guess
now,
that's
oh
that's
my
part of the
goodness.
passage that we go through.
Yes, oh my goodness. This is like the most wonderful thing when you learn to be your authentic self and make yourself happy and be happy with who you are and not comparing yourself with anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that
Yeah.
journey is so hard to get to, but
It is, but when you get there,
when you
it's
get
just like you
there,
reach the mountaintop
I
and and
know.
nobody can tell you nothing, because it is beautiful up there. Because I,
Right.
I can say that I can speak from experience.
Yeah,
It
from
is,
experience.
yes,
It is
beautiful.
a very hard ladder to climb, but man, when you get to the top, it is so uplifting and so rejoiceful, right?
Yes,
That you can walk away
yes.
from situations, you can walk away from conversations and not think twice about
Say no without feeling
it. Right,
guilty. You
right,
no longer have disease to please.
right. And it's so
So
funny. When I learned how to say, no, I don't think I can do that right now. That
yeah,
stopped the person right there in their track. Right.
yeah,
And how did it take you so long to learn how to say, no, I really can't do that for you right now?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Simple,
took me,
right? Sounds
yeah,
simple.
yeah. And I learned that no is a full sentence.
No is a full sentence for sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
But
Oh,
in
it's
my
funny.
case,
Mama
no
Tony
is a complete
just
sentence.
yeah, it is a
Yeah.
complete sentence.
But when you're in
Yes,
business, no is next opportunity.
right, right, right,
Yeah, we
right.
try not to take too many no's in business, but yeah,
Mhm.
in relationships, yeah, no is a complete sentence for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, thank you so much. Is there
Oh,
anything
this
else you
was
want to share with
fun.
us? Yeah.
Well, My contact information,
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, it's R.Vantaire, R.VANTAIRE. My website is also R.Vantaire, and so is my IG.
Okay.
Please, I would love to have people follow me. But the book is available everywhere online, Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and
Do you
Noble.
have your own website for that book or no?
I
You do.
have my website, it's
Hmm.
RVantaire.com. So go ahead and pick up the book and leave a review. One of the things that I
Yeah.
do appreciate it, Mama Tony, thank you, that if you, once you read the book and give me your honest review, because feedback is, this is how we grow, right? So
Yes.
please just, the opportunity to grow and then more to come,
More to
more
come.
to come.
And tell
Yeah.
us about your publisher again, Melanated Publisher. Pecan.
Pecan Tree Published by Claudette Friedman.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yes.
We want to make sure that our tribe just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We want to be part of it. So thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. And to the audience, when the lights go out and the cell phone towers go down, all you have left is a flashlight and a good book. Thank you for being on Zoom and on a fresh conversation. Good night.
Right.